Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Comfy Org stream. I'm here with Phil, as always, and we have a couple special guests today, Lovis Odin and Ingi. All of us are all big comfy dorks. I should have probably address the sunglasses. I don't think I'm cool. I just left my sunglasses or my regular glasses at home, and these are prescription. So please forgive the cool guy glasses. They're not on purpose. Anyway, I'll get it out of the way. So how's everybody doing today? Welcome. Let's go around the room and introduce ourselves. Y'all know me, so I'll just move it on down to Phil.
Y'all know me, so I'm going to move it on to Lovis.
Hello, everyone. Very happy to be here. I'm Lovis Odin, French, as you can hear, living in San Francisco, and I'm a specialist in ComfyUI workflow. I work as freelance with a lot of different companies in cinema, video game, etc. So, yeah. And I led the word to Ingi here.
Hi, I'm Ingi. I'm based in London. As you can tell, it's dark outside. It's like 11 p.m. Yeah, I need some sunglasses. So I am a co-founder and CEO of a brand new AI startup, literally launched this week. So very, very new, called Systems. And before that, I ran an animation studio called Golden Wolf for 10, 11 years. Sold that to a company called Doodles and worked there for a couple of years, and then been doing AI ever since.
Amazing. Well, let's go around the room and talk about how we all got into AI. Me, it was Midjourney and Disco Diffusion and Zippy, Chris Allen. He kept telling me, get into AI, you're going to love it. And I said, Python scares me and I'm not interested in that. And then, he was right, I was wrong. And here I am today, every day since. What about you, Phil?
Still in dependency helpers.
Yeah.
Nothing's really changed since then. But yeah, I mean, the first thing that really got me into it was, I think, Pity. I saw someone using it somewhere and I was like, what is that? And I saw something in the comments, dove into that Python notebook, got it running. And then it really sparked my curiosity of like, okay, well, hold on. If this exists as just like Python code, what else exists? And then I really got heavy into Disco, and yeah, the rest is history from there.
What about you, Lovis?
I think I really started at the beginning was like really depth estimation. So maybe like 15 years ago. So it was really like when it was the beginning of depth estimation, it was with very small amount of data and image, and finally you could generate a small animation. It was only on GitHub, and I remember that I changed a bit the system and it could make larger image at the time. So I think it was my first, even before AI, but finally we use always estimation, depth. That's my first stuff, yes, I think. That I remember.
Right on.
Yeah.
And what about you, Ingi?
So I got into design and like before animation, I was doing like design and illustration, and I got into that kind of alongside like web design and like code and like a bit of code like HTML, CSS, PHP, like stuff like that. Like pretty kind of, I think pretty basic stuff compared to what stuff is like now, but like always had that like interest in like in the technology part of art. Like blew my mind that I could like build a website just from code, like because initially I was using like Dreamweaver and just like slicing up like Photoshop documents or whatever. And then I saw the DALL-E 2 announcement, and a friend of mine got a really early invite to it, and I signed up, and then like one random evening at like 11 p.m. I got the email saying I got in. I don't think I slept that night. I was absolutely obsessed.
Yeah, it's massive.
And then Midjourney came along. I think within like a month or two, I've done like 20,000 generations or something. Like I was doing like all these like Google slide decks of like writing out like prompts that were like 5 words, and then I'd like take one word out. What does that do? Take another word out. What does that do? And just like built these like massive like catalogs of like trying to figure out like just how it worked, like really trying to get into the weeds of it. So been kind of obsessed ever since.
Well, it sounds like we're all traditional artists that then found AI. So that brings me to the point we want to talk about today, which is the sort of open source Wan sphere of models and all the stuff that we can do with them. We had the big 2.5 API announcement earlier this week with 3 big streams in Japan and Europe and US. And Ingi, you joined on the Europe stream with our in-house creative Yogo, and we got the US stream was the other day, and we got to play with all the cool 2.5 stuff. But a lot of people that use Comfy are more stoked on the open source stuff. And I know you guys use that stuff a lot. And my big overarching point about all this is that these tools actually give you control of what you're working on, which is like something I think we've all been struggling to find in this sort of like slot machine world of just doing runs and hoping you get something cool. Every time there's a way to, make that restrictive box a little smaller and drill down deeper into what you're trying to do, composition wise, LoRa training, all the different things. Once you can start smashing all those things together, all of a sudden you're going from making like whatever the computer wants to make to what you were actually trying to make. So like, what's been your experience with Wan and like the open source side of it in that respect? We can start with Phil.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you touched on a great point, right? Like from my perspective, I definitely kind of see myself as like a purist. I actually really enjoy letting AI do the thing and like kind of just showing me what I want or maybe don't want. I think that's kind of like the joy of it, is really like truly getting into the treasure hunt of it all. But like you said, once you've kind of like run through that novelty of like quite literally pulling the random button at like full capacity, what's left to be desired is some sort of guided outcome, right? And it first really started and like kicked off for me with SD15. And like, I don't think I need to talk any deeper into that. SD15 has an incredibly diverse, controllable ecosystem. And I actually think Wan is the only model that's rivaled SD15 in terms of the scope of an ecosystem that allows us to control it via reference, multi-control, like many multi-different control input layers, whether that's like conditioning or image guided or whatever, and really just like allows you to just heavily mix and match those things to get what you want, with the added ability of the fact that it's like a video model. And so like Wan has been an absolute joy, and like super refreshing in my eyes, because there was a stint there where like the models were coming out so fast and so furious that like the community at large didn't really know what to stick to. And so it was like a model was being dropped, one control net would maybe follow it, and then literally the next month another model, totally different architecture, would come out, while like the space and like all the creator, like the model creators, were trying to figure out like what's the next paradigm, right? And I feel like Wan as like an architecture really finally like got a hold of like the community at large, to then see all these like independent, not only creators but also third party, what do you call them, kind of like studios, I guess, start to create and like build out that ecosystem. So I mean, one in terms of like drilling down is pretty much second to only like SD15 in my opinion.
Yeah, what about you, Lovis?
Yeah, I'm totally agree with that. I think SD 1.5, we all start with that, with anime diff, and I think it's still still a lot of people using it because you can create amazing stuff and you don't need a lot of resources. So it's very easy to load the model and everything. So I think that was the first. And now, as you say, like I'm totally agree. One allows so much control as well. For sure, the model are much more heavy. So even to render, even when you want to do a lot of process, it can be long. But I think, for example, to do in-painting for video or to change character on a video thanks to LoRa or stuff like that, it will be impossible with any stuff that is paid tool online today with any model video. So, for example, for modification of video, I think we don't speak enough about that, but there is so many possibilities with Wan. and you can modify and control exactly your modification how you want. So that's why I think it's very powerful, and we need to keep it open source. And I know companies also that retrain these models, that do distillation, that try to use it in different way. And I think that's why also Van Animate or all these versions also come so fast. It's because people sharing it and people can test it on GPUs that have sometimes less power. It's crazy that people sharing so quick. You know, the model once it's out and everybody can use it so fast. I think that's very cool.
And what about you, Ingi?
Yeah, I mean, I think like the world that I come from, like kind of animation and production for brands and agencies and clients that generally don't react well to charts, right? Like, and that's one thing that will kind of I think a lot of people, when people talk about like AI taking your jobs or whatever, like it's like, no, it's a person using AI that's taking your job. But the reason why like I think people have that instinct is because like you can type anything in, you get this amazing thing, and it's like, well, you find me a client that will accept like the thing that comes out of it, right? And so
true.
or like I've been doing projects with brands, and the amount of like control I need in order to like deliver the right thing, like down to like I want like this flower to be like 2 pixels to the right, and within a moving scene, right? And so you have to be able to go back, change that one thing, have a way of like doing that without like completely destroying like the resolution of everything or whatever, so like that's been super useful in terms of one. But like I was talking to a friend of mine about this the other day, about like just the general like concept of that, like of that randomness and like the process with AI, because that's one thing that I've been trying to teach our clients is like, don't approach this like a normal production process, right? Where like you start off with an idea, then you do a storyboard, then you do this, like then you're ignoring what the AI can do, right? And the AI is essentially like best at just like blasting out a load of stuff at the beginning, and then you can narrow it down. And the kind of analogy that I got to was like, essentially there's 2 analogies. One is with AI, it's the opposite of starting with a blank page. You start with everything, right? And then you have to figure out like, how do you get down from that, right? Like how do you decide what to do when you can do anything, versus like you've got a blank piece of paper, now you've got to think of something. And then the kind of the other side of that is, it feels more like you're carving something into stone, right? Or carving somewhere, like you start with this thing that's just like absolutely every possibility in the world, and then you chip away at it. And I think that control allows you to actually, have that chisel and chisel away at it, and not just like throw darts at it, hoping that it will form something. And I think that's the difference between like the slot machine and the control, is like that you might start off with something that might be like mostly the model, but then the more controls you add to it, and the more work you put into it, the more of you goes into it as well. And I think that's super important, because I think that's a lot of the reaction to AI stuff, from artists and just people on the internet, is because of this perception that people just typed in 5 words and they've just got this amazing thing, and like, why should they be proud of it when they might have spent weeks on it,
Yeah. And that's one thing to touch on too, is, it's funny because if you think AI is going to replace us, as people, creatives, things like that, you can give this technology to a company that's trying to make an ad. They will not be able to make an ad because the same problems still exist. You still need the idea, you still need the story, you still need the taste and the visual like understanding to make an ad work. So like as an accelerator pedal, it's super powerful. But you're right, it's almost it's not even an accelerator pedal, because it's like you're reshaping the way that you create. And I've always created from a throw a bunch of stuff on the wall and then erase all the crap type of way. So like AI is perfect for my like just ADHD shotgun approach for everything. And I totally get why, for some people who are very methodical and are trying to execute a very specific idea, why AI can be frustrating, because you're telling it to do something and it's like, yeah, but I'm telling it I don't want the rain to be so thick, and it's like it has no idea.
Yeah.
Right?
And
And like explaining that is very hard.
Yeah, and that's the problem sometimes with ComfyUI. What is funny is people in the industry need people that are pretty technical sometimes to use ComfyUI, but also very artistic. So you need to have the two ways, and it's pretty hard to find right
Yeah.
number that work this
Right,
way.
the brain right down the middle. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
totally.
because for example, if you need, as you said, to have like something appearing or something having a different shape on your image, sometimes the controls that you will have, for example, with ComfyUI, it's some parameters that are very hard, or to understand why it's this one. And so yeah, but that's why I think there is new job also coming and like a new way to work a bit. But yeah, first I think the access to ComfyUI, when it will be easier to people, it will help a lot for sure for people to jump on.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with both you and Ingi and Pers's points here, where like AI is definitely like a subtractive game, in my opinion, where you really are starting like with a slab of marble that is like the universe, and that is like the weights, right? And one thing I've been trying to educate some people on, that I've been kind of like consulting, is like, it's really tempting to just like shotgun a prompt written by an LLM that's like literally 3 paragraphs. But then at what point, you don't even know if like that's at a detriment or a positive to what you're even doing.
Or if it can even eat
Because,
that many tokens.
well, I mean, there's that as well, but it's more of just like, exactly what Ingi was saying. Like, I did the same thing in Disco, right? Where like it was, I would write a word, see what it did, add another word, see what it did, right? Maybe switch the order, see what it did, right? And one thing I learned very, very quickly, and to Lovis's point too, like, it doesn't matter what you think is the right way to approach something. The only thing that matters is what the model interprets your approach to be.
Yeah.
Right. And so like one of the earliest things I learned was I was trying to get objects to glow in Disco. And every time I used the word bioluminescent, I just got green dots. And so I just quickly learned that bioluminescent was not the word I needed to use to even though my brain was like, that is the correct word. It didn't matter what I thought, it was how the model interpreted it. So like, I think there's like that huge part of it too, where it's a collaborative effort, but a lot of the stuff we're trying to collaborate with, it's like, we truly are speaking 2 different languages, and we have to compromise on our side to truly achieve what the model can do, but only based on what it's showing us it can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you have to spend the time plumbing the latent depths, really
Yeah.
like getting to know the models that you're using. Otherwise, you are really stabbing in the dark with a lot of this stuff. Like I can get a result out of the checkpoints I know in animate diff. Like I can get the exact result I'm looking for just because I know those models. Then a new one comes along and you're just like, oh, I gotta learn this. I gotta
Yeah.
like you gotta get to know, like it's almost like getting to know
You're
a person
dating.
or like it's like, what do you like, what do you don't like? Oh, you don't like that at all.
Yeah. My last partner liked that. I guess you don't. So like, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
the last model enjoyed it, but I guess this one doesn't. But yeah, so let's just talk about like some cool workflows you guys been working on. I know Lovis has one he wants to show off, Ingi has one he wants to show off. So let's get into it before we run out of time. Lovis, do you want to start? Do you have yours ready to go?
Yeah, I can show.
Awesome. Yeah, share your screen and I'll throw you up there.
I will share I will share everything. I think it's good. Is it on? Yeah. Do you see it?
Almost. Let me kill mine and turn yours on. There we go.
Okay, I can just sorry. So yes, I just want to show you a workflow that I work on recently that look like this. So it's a bit a crazy workflow, but it's using Wan, and I wanted to show you a new way a bit to use ComfyUI also. I know it's a bit complex and stuff. I can just like share on my Twitter how it's looking, what I was trying to do, because you can see a better video. So that I posted 5 days ago. So finally, the goal of this workflow is you just have one input, and from this input, and it's creating a full video by itself with different scene and cutscene, etc. So I know normally people now we say we don't automate everything and stuff, but me, what is interesting for me is to get control, but also to get automatization. So on this workflow that I will show you, for sure it's automatic now, but you can implement human wherever you want. For now, this is not available online, this version, but I will publish it on my Patreon when it's totally done. So I will just try to explain to you and to show you my logic about this. So I will try to be slow, and not too technical maybe, but just to show you what I had in mind. So I wanted, for example, just to get like a few inputs, so it can work just with any input, like a few ones. So here, for example, I just did with the title, The Shining, author Stephen King, a style animation movie, and I give the poem. So I say poem because for now my system is working with little sentences, so it's better for poem. So because I was imagining the system to work for poem because it's something that we don't know how to represent sometimes, so it was to play with it. And so finally with that, so this poem and all this information will be sent to LLM. But before that, there will be like I made the information good together. So for example, here if you see at the end, it will give me the full poem and it will give me the number of lines of the poem. That's very important because the number of lines will determine the number of shots of the movie, I have all my model videos that are loaded here, but that's not so important. So here is the cool part, is the LLM. So finally, all the block that you see in green here, it's like the instruction. So its instruction here is just like from a text. I describe him that I need like multiple prompts. So this one is instruction to generate image from the text. So from the number of line of text. This one instruction, it's for the animation. So for Van animate, for one. And this instruction are for the music. So everything is generating in one go. So I will just show you the finals that you can just see a bit by your eyes what it does. So you see, finally, all the text, everything is generated in one go, in only one click. So all the voice,
So
everything
cool.
together. So yeah, that was a bit, and I can show you other example, but I want to share this workflow to everyone after. But it can work for any style. So you can also, I can show you, for example, this one.
The arena roared alive. Flames leapt from hidden traps. A girl raised her gun, eyes sharper than steel.
So yeah, it's just like some tests for now, but like to explain to you what it does, finally the workflow, it's a bit complex, so I will not go too much in details, but yeah, you have the LLM that gives the prompt here. And finally, what is super interesting is that using a system of loop that is here. So this system of loop, what it does, it will calculate exactly how many shots it needs. So for example, if there is 10 line of text, it will do 10 scenes. And it will generate, it will give the information and share, and the loop will generate each video by itself. And after it will compose it together to have the final video. So just to show you a bit some results. So first is starting from an image that is generating from the prompt. So you have the image here. And this image will be the base of all the other image, because this is generating with Qwen. So, or we can generate with Flux, whatever, But this is we use after the model Qwen image edits. That's why we keep like a consistency between the different shots, because we're using a model that just do editing normally. So here we generate the first image, and here you see I generate the first scene. So I just do an image to video with one. So it's just a workflow here, you see, it's just an image to video with auto prompting from the LLM we gave before. And it generates, and here I just, so that's the node also, I think, of fields somewhere here that are cool. I love the crossfade. So the crossfade that you see on the video, it's made with a node of fill. And it just generates this part, and this part is just the title, as you see. And so for all the other part of the video after, so it goes through the loop here. And finally, it's using this, that is Qwen image edits. And so finally, I just always give the first image, that is, I always give this one, and I always give the last one of the last shot generated. I know it's a bit crazy, but it's just to make consistent, or to try to get consistent between shots.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's one of the hardest things to maintain when you're
Yeah,
generating each image piece by piece, for sure.
exactly. So
Yeah.
it's more now, it's all automatic and for sure. But what it means is you can use Qwen in a certain way, and you can. But finally, after the goal is like each image that you're generating is sent to Wan, and Wan generate a video with a prompt that is also generated by the LLM, and the audio. So it's very cool because the audio is the voice. So finally, the audio control everything because the length of each sound of voice. So you see so it's 3 seconds. So this frame duration is sent directly to ear, to the number of frame it can do. So it will do exactly the number of frame of the sound of the voice. So finally, the full length of the movie is directing by the voice. It could be directed by the image, but it was more easy for me to do that. So yeah.
Nice.
It'll make
Hell
a
yeah.
way tighter result too, when it's like feel
Yeah.
like it's just edited correctly
exactly.
to begin with.
That is the correct way to go about it for sure.
And I can just finish. So I just share like two. So for this, I create two LoRa. So I train a LoRa for QuenEdit 25. So is that the new version of QuenEdit that just out? So I train a LoRa that called Next Scene. It's still prototype, but the goal of this LoRa, it was trained on image from different sequence. And the goal of that is to, I put it on, you can find it on my Hugging Face here, Lovis 93, and you have it here. I just published it 7 minutes ago, I think, or something. So this LoRa allow you to normally create different scenes, like in the cinema, from different camera. And the other LoRa that I use for Wan, that I create as well, that you can find, it's this one that is the push-in LoRa that I create. So when you generate sometimes movie with Wan, with image to video, sometimes the motion is not so good. So I create this LoRa that really do like a lot of motion and important push-in movements. And so I use this LoRa for my workflow because it allows on all my scenes that I generate to have a bit of movement, because sometimes one with image to video is a bit fixed. So if you have this problem as well, you can try my LoRa. It's free here, and you can use it with Wan 2.2 as well. In the workflow now, it's Wan 2.2, so you can use it. It's working very good. And yeah, I think that's it. It's just to show a bit what I like to do with that. I create different workflow, but it's to show how we can push AI, and finally, it could be possible almost to generate a full movie. The only limitation now, it's a bit the GPU, because if I do more than 15 frames, the VRAM and the RAM are too high. But yes, I'm happy to share the workflow, and I will do a very long video with the workflow to explain everything in details. So it's a lot of steps. It's look complex, but I think it could be interesting for a lot of people, and each part is very separated on the workflow. So yeah, that's it for me. If you have any question, or I don't know, it's what.
Yeah, you know what? Let's slide over to the Q&A and see if the audience has any questions about the workflow while we talk about it. And that is a really, really cool workflow. I think that these sort of auto scene builders are definitely like a really good showcase of what's possible in Comfy, because like it's not a timeline, right? Comfy is not like an editor, it's not a real-time tool, but like this kind of like just harnessing the abilities like you have with these automation tools is like, it's really, really, really cool. Really cool.
But for sure, also I'm agree when you say timeline tool, and we saw what updates on Adobe side, when they did some update on Photoshop. I think now I don't know even why it's not already on video. We can do edit on video with ComfyUI very easy. So now there is place to create tool also that with timeline that can edit stuff in the easiest way that what offer Adobe, I think. But yes, there is a lot of stuff to do around that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. People are asking if we've replaced Julian. Just because there's a different French person here doesn't mean that we have to always have a French person here.
No, I'm only here for one time. Sometimes I'm not. Yeah.
MJ is on vacation, so he lost his spot. We got a new Frenchie. What's up with the reverb and the glasses? I am in a very empty house right now. This will be my last stream from this place. And I'll be moving into a new house this weekend. And the glasses are because I forgot my regular glasses. So I need prescription glasses to see what y'all are saying. So here I am, super cool guy who is wearing sunglasses inside.
I did not think you were that blind.
Yeah. I mean, I can see, but then it's just like squint time. Yeah, anyway. Yeah. Okay. So it looks like nobody has any questions. So the biggest question we're going to get is where workflow. So to go get the workflow, go to Lovis's Patreon in a day or two and go check it out. If you
I will
want
post it
to
later.
just turnkey and go, that's the move. But as we were discussing before, a lot of these workflows, like especially that level of zany, that's not your like day one kind of workflow. Like
No.
No.
Sorry, I show that now.
if this is your first like run at Comfy, just try something else. Like a beg you to try something else before you come to this.
Yeah,
This is actually a thing I'm getting a lot in the Discord. Is somebody will show up and be like, "I can't get this to work," and they show me a workflow, and it's like I couldn't get that workflow to work. So like, you're definitely not getting that workflow to work on day one. So like, yeah, just manage your expectations when you're starting with these workflows. It's not that they're impossible. It's just that it's like an onion. There's layers to all this stuff. I mean, everyone on this panel can tell you.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I mean, with anything Lovis, I've had the pleasure of working professionally with Lovis and dissecting his workflows, and like, let me tell you, if you want to like leverage the power of Lovis, just sub to the Patreon and grab the
Yeah.
workflow, because like everything he just showed you conceptually, we all can do, even you guys in the chat. But to put in the effort and really build it out to the level that Lovis has perfected, like, yeah, that's what the Patreon's for, guys.
And finally,
Hey,
if
shout
you
out to
want-
Joe.
Yeah.
But yeah, we support creators around here. So go subscribe to Lovis's Patreon and help and just make it work. Because like we spend a lot of time on these workflows, and so help out the creators, y'all. Comfy's free, but people got to eat. Right on. So let's jump over to Ingi. Do you want to show off one of your latest workflows with Wan?
Yeah. I'll let me see if I can share my screen.
Yeah.
Let's see. It's going to be I'm like remoting into my other machine.
Yeah, that's okay. We
My
all do that.
my beastie machine next to me, so I'm gonna have to share my whole screen. Is that sharing?
Yeah.
There you go. You see yourself?
To the scene.
All right, there we go. Right, so
Oh,
I've got a couple, but I'll probably just go through this one. Let's see how much time we had. But so one of the things I really love about Comfy is obviously the ability to be able to make your own notes. And one of the things that I'm really interested in is like figuring out different ways of like having an idea go from like my brain to the computer and I think like prompting is great and it's like a really cool thing to be able to do, but like it feels very much like code to me, or like it feels very very kind of engineer led rather than like how I might work as an artist, or like or even how I think. Like I don't think in words really, like I think in images and symbols or whatever it is, but like so the way like I'd approach a project, for example, like if I'm directing a commercial or whatever, I might go on Pinterest and just like scroll it until something jumps out at me, and then I'll take that thing and then I'll like grab references of different things and I'll think in images, and like and two images put together might like bring a new idea. So I'm working on this like set of nodes that essentially takes context from different images and treats them in different ways. So there's a few of the nodes here. So basically, it runs on it's on Olama. So I'm using Gemma 3 at the moment. And basically, I've split it into like the main components, and I did a deep dive into like the Wan architecture to like try and work with it as best as possible. So like went through all the like documents and like read all their like all the inference files and all that to like figure out like what the model likes, what order things need to be, and all that kind of stuff. So basically, the first one is a character builder where, and for the sake of argument, you could use this for anything. You don't have to use it with Wan, you can use it with anything else. But essentially, it's got slots for hair, headwear, face, clothing top, clothing bottom, footwear, accessories. And so here I've just like picked some images and just like slotted them into there. Then you got scene. So you've got 3 slots for scene, 1, 2, and 3. What that means is like if you have a scene where you want them to go from like one room and then go outside and then like go swimming or whatever, like then it could do that. So rather than everything happen in the same place, it will happen in 3 different places. And then same with action, where I've given that 5 slots. I mean, it struggles with 5. Like, you normally just get what you're given, but like sometimes it does it. So you could have someone like sitting down, then they stand up, then they run, and then they shoot a basketball at a hoop or whatever. Like, so you can kind of break your actions down into movements. And then I've got this little button here calling it flow, but basically, if that's not ticked, then it treats them as separate scenes. It might string them together, but it might be like different people doing it. And the flow one essentially asks the model to treat each of the references as like a pose of an action. So if you wanted someone dancing, then you could just give it a load of poses for dancing, and it would try to describe that as one action rather than like different things. And then I've not used the I've got a style one as well, so you can put in up to 3 different styles, and it can mix the styles together. So you could give it like a live action thing and a 2D thing, and it'll mix that together. And then I just took most of the parameters that they announced when 2.2 came out, where they kind of listed like all of the things that the model understands. So like visual style is kind of, I think it's from like a PDF that they gave out. Like, so like you've got light source, light type, time of day, weather, shot size, all those things. And like, instead of having to write them out, just kind of pick them from this list, like makes prompting like super quick and easy. And obviously like once I've set all this up, usually all I'm doing is just like changing one image at a time. So this here, like, so just as an example, I mean, I've literally just hit go on this, but so this one I gave it as locations, I gave it this like supermarket as the first one, and then this like black hole as the second one. And then for action, I think this the first one was like blowing a bubble or blowing like a chewing gum bubble, and then like jumping or running or whatever. And I did have a quick look, and it didn't give him a tiger head, but it did do the action, and it kind of got the clothing right. But obviously doesn't
super
always
sick.
work. But yeah, it's like it just what I found actually kind of through playing with these nodes is that I think before I was always prompting for like one action, right? So I want the person to do this thing. But one of the things that I was taught by someone on set once, shooting a commercial, was that what you want to do when you're directing an actor is think about what they're doing before it, right, or after it, right? So like then their action will feel natural, right? So they're not just like walking in, doing the action, and then pause or whatever. So then in the edit, you can then cut it when they're about to go do that next thing. So what I found with this is that like if you give it like 3 or 4 different actions and then just take the middle part, that middle part will feel much more natural than had you just kind of just prompted for that thing. So
it makes sense to flow naturally into the next sort of.
Yeah. I just thought, it's something I want to play with more, like just figuring out different ways of like interacting with the AI, and like without it always just being either like a prompt or or a video or an image or whatever. Like trying to find different ways of like interacting with it. Like I'm a sucker for those demos where people like have like a webcam and then they're like drawing, and the drawings turn into the real thing, like with 1.5 or SDXL or whatever, like in real time. And like I'm definitely thinking about exploring some stuff like that. I'm desperate to like plug in my like teenage engineering gear or whatever and like see if I can like control a generation with that. But yeah, that was that one. I did have one other thing, but I don't know. I mean, it's just quite specific. So
yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it.
Yeah, so I'll show you this. Just something I've been working on today, but it might be really loud. Let me just play it. So I don't know if that might have been like 2 frames a second for everyone. Did you see it?
yeah, no, it came
No, it
through
was
really
good.
nice. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. So basically, like, it's something like, I mean, it's kind of very in line with a lot of stuff I've been doing recently, but like, it's essentially like I just did a bunch of really quick generations in Midjourney, and then did an edit, and then I just like transitioned between them, and then just like did a load of passes on top with like Wan 2.2 to like make it look like as photoreal as possible, and like, and the thing about the transitions is something that like, often when I posted these, like people ask about like what the approach is, and like it honestly is like a really simple thing that I don't like. I think, I mean, a lot of people use it, but I don't know how well advertised it is within Vase. But basically, just to kind of show everyone what it is that makes those possible, and like really, like it's just like it's a very straightforward. Obviously, there's a fair amount of nodes, but like as far as like
Yeah, it's funny. We keep showing these bonkers workflows going. It's a super simple workflow. All it is
exactly.
when you're watching this, don't freak out. You'll get to this level in like a week.
Well,
You know?
basically, like, I mean, for me, right? Like, so I mean, these nodes here, right? This is just what the wrapper looks like to me. Like, this is like that's standard. They're always there, and this is the high model and the low model. So like all of this stuff here is like more or less the standard stuff. But like this is kind of where I do this. So like basically, I just take two videos. I edit them down or whatever. So like they're the length that I want them in the edit, and then I've just got like a little math node that like calculates like. So I want to take basically what I do is I take the same amount of frames from each video from the end of the first one and the beginning of the second one, so that I'm giving the model. So it's basically a first frame last frame workflow. And I'm giving the model, I'll just set it off and it will show you the frames. But essentially, what I'm giving the model is 11 frames of context of the movement of each one. So instead of it just being the first and last frame image, I'm giving it like 11, or it could be prompt output style validation. What I not plug in?
You giving it with Van Vase, right? You giving like the 10 first image, and after you give a mask. Do you do something like that? No, it's not like this way.
What have I done?
Yeah, that's kind of
it's
what
the
I
Van
think
Vase.
is going on
So you
here.
give like
Which one?
That's very cool. Okay, yeah, with Van Vase, so you give like the 10 image, and after you give the 10 last.
Yeah.
So we blend together. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So basically, I mean, obviously, it's really good at doing the first frame, last frame thing. But if you give it video and several frames instead of images, basically, it does an incredible job at marrying them together. And yeah, these are I'll share this workflow afterwards. But yeah,
Awesome.
this is just something that I use it like every day. It's like my little cheat code. Definitely my favorite feature of Wan is just this ability to like merge things together. But like actually, what I use it for as well is if there's something in a video that I'm working on like that isn't working, or maybe there's some glitches, or like the lighting is inconsistent for a second or whatever, you can just cut that bit out and then run it through this. And so just put gray in the middle and just render back over, and it'll smooth it out. So like normally my renders are just like Frankensteins of just like 50 different renders from this, just like fixing different things. So that it's super powerful.
Yeah, it's like in painting time.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can use that also to do like long video. So you can use Van Vase this way. So if you give the 10 frame, it's really like, you probably test that. Even to continue movement of camera, it can be super smart, I love your use. Very cool workflow.
Yeah, that was really neat.
Yeah.
Just like maybe if people didn't understand what was happening there, like imagine you've got a video, right? You've got a scene and you've got another scene, but then you need to extend that. Like you need a little more time. But you need to not just be like another scene that's completely unrelated. You can take the last 10 frames of the preceding scene and the first 10 frames of the next scene, and then use Wan to just kind of like just cook it together, like pull it out like dough. So And you imagine that in a timeline editor, right? Like just like I just need more time in this scene, extended by X frames and prompt. You know, like man, we are heading towards some crazy shit. Actually, you know what? I think the sunglasses make sense now because the future is so bright. Yeah, it's amazing. So yeah, another thing, I'll just show this one off real quick. Let me jump over to the demo page. Where are we? So this is a workflow by Yogo Milan, one of our in-house creatives. It also uses Wan Vase, but it also it's using Lotus normals and depth anything to mix together a depth and normal map as a control video. This is a very powerful way of defining not only the scene but the sort of the texture and the exact sort of outline of the stuff in the scene. Because with the depth, you get the distance from the camera. But with normals, you almost get this like 3D interpretation of where every corner is or every sort of fold is. And you can see it. It's all that the sort of colored stuff on the body that you can see the definition of the face and stuff like that. Those are the normals. So this is the depth map and the normals mixed together. And then all it does is we take that first frame from a video and run it through, in this case, Dream, but you could use any image model. And we're saying, 1980s cartoon, bright colors, fun illustration. She's standing in front of a castle with large turrets on top. We were trying to add a castle to the scene. It didn't actually add the castle to this one, but when it ran, it actually kind of did. So I'm not entirely sure what happened there. But as you can see, let me zoom in on this. That is an incredible result for restylizing footage, and also because of the way this works, it's actually quite easy to just grab the last frame, use that as the next stylization image for the next batch of images, and just pound one after the other of these and then stitch them together. And because of the nature of using the last frame as the reference, that like glitchy stitching thing, you don't really see it too much as it jumps context windows. Well, physical context windows. So yeah, like that. We've got pose control. We got depth canny, line art, head. We got normals, dense pose, open pose. Like the amount of ways we can take input footage and then use that as the composition for our stuff and then redream the result. Like that makes it possible to actually generate footage with text to video models like VO3 or whatever you like, even Wan itself, and then restylize those videos later. It's also good for placing products in these shots. If I wanted her to be carrying a can of Coke, we could pretty easily, like, if they have a can in the scene and then tell it the can, it has to be a Coke can, show it what a Coke can looks like, and then bam, you've got your product in the video. So just for commercial use and all this other stuff, man, we are in a special time. What have you been working on lately, Phil? You got any cool ones you want to show off?
Man, I do. I was trying to get it, but it's on my desktop, and my desktop's sitting in a warehouse in Spain, like 3 miles away.
I've got some results from Vase and One Animate I can show, so that's.
But I want to talk about it because actually, it's actually leveraging pretty much every single concept you guys have just talked about, but in one workflow. And I mean, it's not overly complicated. I mean, it is when you look at it, but basically what it is I'm using the input is a single image of a person, but in this case, it could be anything, but it's a person. It then shoots out 4 variations of that object or thing in 4 different styles. It renders 4 videos, or however many videos there are of variations. It renders the 4 videos, and then it uses the middle, like basically Ingi's concept of like rendering the middle to take the two videos, same idea. That's actually what the crossfade node is for, Lovis. That's why I built that node. Is I built the crossfade node to basically pull the frames from one scene and another, and then render the middle, and then place them back on top of each other with a crossfade to really try to address the whole like color switch. Yeah, it renders the middle. So it's like a super, super smooth transition, again, with the context of either motion from either side of each video to get a really smooth transition. And it does that all the way through, and then it loops back. So what you get is like a literal like 20-second video of the thing just like morphing in and out of these like four concepts, but like endlessly in like a perfect loop. I had built this workflow before with like a pretty basic start and end frame, but then of course the most obvious thing is always like you get that like smooth motion and then a smooth motion and then like a hard jitter again, and it's like, I rebuilt it this time with this smooth kind of like give it context on either side a method, and it works really well. It works super, super well. I think I built it on 2.2. And it's just so satisfying because like the example I built it around was like, I take a picture of me, it generates 4 styles. So like the 4 styles were just like samurai, pirate, king, and like something else. And it's basically me in just 4 costumes, and then like watching me like morph between these clothes like so smoothly is really satisfying. So yeah, that's what I've been playing with lately. That's like on the more complex side.
That's amazing. Yeah, holy cow. So what do you guys want to see? Like what features do you want in one, what that isn't there yet? Like what's the big like what would reshape your creative process again?
Specifically for Wan,
Yeah.
I have to think about this for a second. If someone else wants to go.
Maybe more information for training LoRa as well. Like it's still a bit like training LoRa with high noise and the low noise, you never know. People start to know, but I don't know if it's so useful, but I feel for movement or stuff like that could be so nice to have more. For example, when I trained for Wan 2.1, a LoRa for motion LoRa, it was really easy finally to train, and it was not so much data. It worked better with, and I feel for movement of camera or stuff like that could be very helpful to have more LoRa. And it's pretty easy to train. So, but I just need to figure out. It's for sure on the high model for Wan 2.2. But yeah, that would be cool, like to have better LoRa. Yeah. And yeah,
I think I'd like to see. You kind of got there with ATI and stuff, but like I want to see like more ways of controlling things, right? So like I love like before ATI came out, I spent a good while like testing out like every combination of different shapes I could throw into it, and just like into the fun, and 2.1 fun, and just to see like I did a thing where like it was like 2 circles on top of each other, and I'm moving like that, and then I like give it a portrait of someone, and I'm like, can I get them to like move their head? And it did, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. What if I make one of the circles really small? Like, what does that do? I did like 3D grids trying to get camera moves, and it would just like render the grids, right? And like and it felt like the model almost wanted to do it, right? And like and it is better with ATI, but like I feel like there's still room there, right? Like it feels like the model is capable of this like really interesting, like again, like talking about like modeling something with clay or whatever. It's like it feels like you can mold the motion in a more kind of intricate way that maybe like these like extra models or add-ons, like they add like very specific features. But like I'd love it if it was like, I don't know, if it was more flexibility in it, where like you could, if you just added this layer, it would just completely control it. Or yeah, like but not like a control net, if that makes sense. Kind of like a control net, but just with anything, yeah.
Have you tried the have you tried Vase with the red squares?
You mean like the
Because it
with the like with different. You can give it different boxes, right? Like the camera and.
Yeah, I mean, you just use like squares basically in different varying sizes, moving different directions. But I mean, like Vase 2.1 straight up does everything. That's why, like, when ATI came out, I was like really confused. I was like, this kind of already exists in Vase 2.1, and it's incredible if you can, like, create some nodes or some sort of UI to like create those boxes, because like I was able to like move items. I was able to control like camera direction and like speed of the camera. I was able to completely steal the camera motion from one shot and apply it to a still image, and so like like the jitteriness of someone with a hand cam, like I could just like take that motion and just plop it onto another picture. And I'm like, so like when I hear like, yeah, well, when I saw ATI come out, I was like, I like cool, but also like Face kind of already does that, so like that's tight. But yeah, if you haven't, Ingi, definitely dive into that, because like I think I've seen like maybe like 5 people ever leverage that to their
I've used
advantage.
it a lot actually. That was a big part of the deep dive. There's one element of it that I'm still yet to see anyone try out, and weirdly they didn't give any kind of detail in the documentation. Did you ever see the color code thing?
In what
So
context? I don't think so.
if you go on their repo on Hugging Face, there's a file which is basically like a list of like thousands and thousands of things, and they have hex codes next to them. And if you what in the demo for that box thing is basically is a bird and it moves over here, right? And if you look at the inference code for that, it says bird and then there's the hex code next to it. And basically what I assume is that
Okay.
and I did do some experiments with this, like there's a hex code for zoom, for example, or like rotate. And so my assumption was that you could color those boxes and it would do different things or animate different objects, basically. Or like if your nose is a bird, then it will move it like a bird. But I don't know like how like hard coded it was into the model. But I think that's like a capability that maybe that's never talked about.
Yeah, I do now to memory remember seeing that like massive list, but again, like not kind of like glossing over it and being like, that's cool, and then like never touching it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah, it's I only realized what it was when I saw it in like the inference code for the box thing. It was like it had the prompt and then it had like the object and then it had the hex code and it like referred to that list. And I remember because I'd seen the name of the list somewhere and then found it. Yeah. So like there must be a relevance to those colors, but like, whether it worked or not, maybe it didn't. And that's why they didn't advertise it.
Pers, I actually have an answer for the Wan ecosystem. I think super bulletproof context windows would be tight.
that's where I'm at too.
Like we already have
that's where
them.
I'm at too. Just
We
need
are,
that.
yeah, we already have them. It's just like, if we could generate like near infinite with a context window, I think it's already possible. Like, but the problem is like it requires you to use some sort of like guidance conditioning. Like if you're using a vase with an image reference, I'm sure a context window could carry it through, because like the guidance is so strong through that context window, you would probably wouldn't notice it. But like, man, if you just use straight text to vid, the context window is kind of brutal.
Yeah, as long as I've noticed that too. There's got to be some kind of compositional control, like taking you through that context window, or else it just kind of like
Right.
crossfades into a new scene, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the last thing I'm waiting for, which I was like kind of experimenting with, is like true regional conditioning. We have it in Comfy for one, but I was running into some problems with like some like that's what it was. It was multi-regional conditioning, but with a moving mask. So you can mask regionally with static images, of quite easily in Wan, but for whatever reason, I was running into some like weird like mismatch errors whenever I tried to make the mask a video as well. Kind of like trying to pull that animate diff vibe where it's like I have 3 colors, they're all moving, each color is a mask, and then each color gets its prompt, and then that's what get renders. Like that is kind of like the last frontier for me, because then you pair that up with some audio reactive stuff. Yeah, and now you have audio reactive Wan on a level that like prompt coherence is insane. You have all the power of Vase, and yeah, I'm really waiting for that.
I'm wondering if that's to do with the way the model calculates motion, where like it does a start and end frame, and then it does the flow in between, and so it's already calculated the before like the start and end, so the prompt can't influence it at that stage maybe, but the shapes can. I don't know.
That's interesting.
Yeah, like I don't know if it's a shortcoming on like the model's architecture, or I know like a lot of this like crazy stuff, even for the Comfy core team, like it gets overlooked because not everyone is out here trying like this ridiculous stuff and pushing the boundary, and you're like, hey, why can't I do this? And then Comfy himself is like, wait, oh yeah, here you go. Like I forgot about that.
Yeah. The audience saying, I'm not ready to share my mask and effects nodes yet. Okay. Fine. I shared mine.
I mean, I've got mask and effects nodes, but like, it's for me, it's the power is not like using masks. The power is rendering natively. I want one render pass with like 7 different prompts and 3 different image reference contextually in a single render.
Yeah.
No comping. Like that's what I want. Exactly like Animate Diff used to do, because that's when it would be truly seamless, right? Really leveraging the power of a latent if it's all being done in one bake.
Maybe you will need a new control net or something for that, possibly. I don't know what you can like to give information to control for each of the stuff separately. You could even process the video 3 times, like, yeah, but if you want to do the same in one render, but yeah.
You just have a separate,
honestly, that's a great idea.
Or you could just have like 6 machines running at the same time and then render it all into the same prompt.
Why not?
Just
throw more GPU at the problem.
Yeah, why not?
Money is always the solution, really. That's not a bad idea though, Lovis. Like, imagine like a control net. It would be pretty simple, honestly, to make. But basically, what I'm thinking is like Vase, but it was trained on
because
RGB.
Animate Diff control nets, they were like control net for MID, it was like for color stuff, like for color on element MID. I think it was calling a control net. I think it could be not so hard maybe to train a control net and to have like really perception of texture, for example, or stuff that you choose. I don't know, but yeah, that's a good idea, to be honest. Because now I feel with Vase and stuff, you can control sometimes to give different image, but you don't have really full control of where you have what, So you can say, I want this character, this bag, and it will make you a video, but it's not exactly of the video you want,
Yeah. Actually, there's one last thing I want to touch on, and like Wan has clearly been adopted by all of these sub studios and like AI like just play like labs. That's the word I was looking for. AI labs, and we've seen like all these fine tunes and these modules and the infinite talk, and like they're all just like kind of like plugging on the side, like the side bandwagon of Wan. What I'd really love is for one of these companies, labs, whatever, to drop some training scripts so that the community can take that infrastructure of creating a side module onto Wan and make their own side modules. Because like Vase is incredible, Infinite Talk is incredible. Imagine all the crazy stuff you can do with audio if you have the training scripts to train an audio module on the side of Vase. Like right out of the box, here's a training script, go do it. Like I think a lot of these companies, I understand they're kind of like holding their sauce and whatever and not like releasing these scripts, but it's really frustrating to see what is possible, but to not have the tool to experiment further in a different direction, but with the same, tool that created it. So that's like something I've really been frustrated seeing, like all this stuff come out, and it's like, well, hold on, like 7 of these things exist, but like no one dropped training scripts at all. Like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully we'll get more and more insight into how to train stuff on our own for stuff like that. Because like the community's ready to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're frothing, really.
Quace had a great question. We'll just go around the room. You guys local or cloud?
Local.
Local.
I want to change to local for sure this year because it cost me too much money, and the RTX 6000 Pro is very good, I think. Yeah.
Do it. You won't regret it.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's the best thing. I've like, I like 100 PlayStations wouldn't bring me as much joy as that thing. Honestly, like it's
really worth its weight in
you just
gold.
forget
Like
about,
there's
you
really,
forget about VRAM. Like
Yeah.
you just it's great.
that is a crazy thing, right? You just like, I don't think about that anymore. It's
I've been
weird.
feeling that a bit with the 5090, like just loading whatever models I want without like considering that 24 gigabyte limit. And like, it is so much like, I don't know. It's like a guy with a Ferrari saying, "Oh, it's super nice. You should get a Ferrari. They're really awesome." But just that like lack of like offloading of VRAM onto system memory is just a massive like increase in the amount of stuff you can get done, especially in the early iterative process where it actually matters.
Yeah, I mean, it's straight up just an investment. It's an investment on your time, and like if you want to do this stuff seriously, like, I mean, the first graphics card I bought it on credit and monthly payments. But like the second I had it in my hands and I was using it daily, I was like, this no brainer. Honestly, just a no brainer.
Yeah, we're super stoked with to have like the Comfy Cloud now too, as the option for people who don't, get a gaming PC or a NVIDIA RTX card just for this one specific task is not it's not a reasonable sort of thing to buy as a hobby. Unless you're already gaming, you're already in that world, or you're doing 3D stuff, or you're doing something that actually utilizes that GPU. Otherwise, bang for the buck. If you're just into gaming, like AMD is a no-brainer. But once this hobby becomes an obsession, it is definitely something to consider going local. But yeah, I'm just super stoked to have an option for people who don't have like access to that kind of GPU to at least try some stuff and stay up on the latest stuff. Be ready for the chance to jump in and do this stuff professionally or whatever. So yeah, man, super stoked about that. And I guess one more thing I wanted to cover before we leave is the Comfy Challenge. So every week we do the Comfy Challenge, and last week was no exception. We did the let me pull it up here. So this one is called Infinite Flight, and it is a first-person view. The challenge was to make a video from first person's perspective. So I'm going to play the challenge, and then I'm going to mute it, and we can react to it after. So it'll play with sound first, and then we'll watch it again and react to it. So here we go. crazy.
Look dope. Yeah.
Dude, there's so
I
many
know.
good ones.
How insane. I'd say this every week, but how insane is our community?
That's very nice. That's crazy video.
So yeah, this week was Infinite Flight, but this week coming, which has just begun, and I believe it goes on for the next couple months, is the Heartbeat Challenge with Wan. We're doing one with Wan, and they have much larger prizes than we normally do. So you may want to get involved in this one. The prize pool, I think, is like $1,400 or something. So go check it out. The blog link is in the chat, and I'll just throw it up on the bottom of the screen there. Comfy Challenge with Wan. So yeah, go check it out. The challenge name is Heartbeat, and you're supposed to use a Wan model, any Wan model. And it can be like a short film this time. I believe there's like a 2-month or 3-month window on this one, so take your time. All the information is there. But yeah, big prize on this one. So yeah, go make some cool stuff. But man, so many interesting sort of takes on first-person view or flight here.
Yeah, like I knew this one was going to be diverse. I love this one. This like slide down the rainbow universe portal thing. This was crazy.
So cool. And shout out to Chris Syntax Diffusion for cutting this video together this week. Normally Joe does it. Chris took a crack at it this week and did a great job.
Yeah, it's amazing. So much diversity as well. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so fun to see like everyone's take on this stuff. Like judging is so hard. Like watching all the videos and trying to decide like 10 or 15 that we love is impossible.
For
We
sure.
have fights. We have
This
fights
last
in the
game
Slack. Yeah. Right on, friends. Well, thank you so much for hanging out. I really appreciate it. And we're going to be doing more of these sort of roundtable type hangouts more often because it's been very illuminating for me and hopefully our audience too. And thanks, Lovis. Thanks, Ingi. And please, if you guys have anything coming up, anything you want to talk about, anything you want to plug, now is the time. So let's go around. Lovis, how you doing? You got anything you wanna tell everybody about?
No, like yeah, just follow me. I want to start. So I didn't start my Patreon exactly yet, you know. So like I never did that. Normally I share workflow like that, but I was thinking it could be cool to have something a bit more deep and with a very long tutorial. So I will do that. So you can follow me on X, lovis.io, or like you can find me with my first name. It's easy. And yeah, you will see some of my work there. I like to post what I'm doing. So yeah, thank you for everyone.
Thank you, Lovis. What about you, Ingi? What you got going on?
Every time someone asks me that, I could just like nothing. I don't know. I have no idea. Like it, like remember, like when I was
Give me your elevator pitch right now.
It's Friday. We need to go out.
When I was running my animation studio, we'd be like doing like 20 projects at a time, and someone would ask us what we're doing. I'm like, not a lot. I don't know, and I couldn't think of a single thing every time. I saw someone mention in the chat or ask about whether the nodes that I showed are online. They're not, because I need to make them better. But once I think they're ready, then I will put them out because they're super fun to play with.
Yeah, and I'll put everybody's X and websites and stuff in the description of the video below. So after the fact, when you're watching the video, you can just go down and click on everybody's links. Go follow everybody on X, Instagram, wherever. Go to their websites and yeah, just follow and support the creators in this space, man. It's so cool to see everyone doing stuff. You know, we've all bouncing into each other over the years, and it's just awesome to link up and have a good chat like this. It's been great, guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So yeah, everybody, we'll be back on Tuesday. So yeah, stay safe, keep her between the snowbanks, as my dad always says. And that's a very Canadian phrase, I think.
That's a very Canadian phrase.
All right.
That's amazing.
Stay safe, everybody. Much love. Thank you, Lovis. Thank you, Ingi. Thanks, Phil.
Thanks, guys.
Goodbye.
Bye.